Mr. Atkinson's not gonna be with us further, and I've moved Ms. Armstrong into his place and position. If at any time any of you feel, yourselves getting drowsy or sleepy or whatever, let me know, and I'll be glad to take a break so that you can, get back to where you need to be. I understand sometimes it's difficult after lunch recess period. Mr. Atkinson, I think, was asleep for a good 25 minutes. That happens sometimes. Mr. Arnie, you can sit in either one of those seats you're more comfortable with. It doesn't really make any difference.
Okay, thank you.
But you're now alternate number one. You're the only alternate.
I understand.
Witness remains bound by his oath to tell the truth and is with the defendant.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Pugh. When you and Ditz and Josh, y'all got to the parking lot, Chandler's in the process of getting in his car, right?
Yes, sir.
And at that point, of course, you were worried because quite frankly, he was drunk, right?
Sir.
I believe you described his demeanor at that point as he wasn't even responsive. Is that right? Is that a fair way to say it? He wasn't responsive?
Yeah, it just wasn't, I mean, it wasn't like a talking back and forth kind of thing. So,
He wasn't even really responding to what you guys were saying. Is that fair?
yes, sir.
And as you said, that's not the Chandler that you know, right?
No.
And it's fair to say he wasn't responsive to you guys and he seemed agitated because he was drunk, right?
Yeah, could have been the reasons. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
Redirect.
You've been drunk with the defendant before that night, right?
Before that night?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And you said he's not normally like that, right?
Yes, sir.
So, while Mr. Smith asked you if he was mad because he was drunk, being drunk hasn't made him mad before, that you've seen, right?
Yeah.
But he just had an argument.
Yes.
Just say that
Yes.
loud so that everybody can hear.
But you know he had just had an argument with one of his good friends, right?
From what I could tell, yes.
Mr. Smith used the term experimented with marijuana. Was your use of marijuana with the defendant regular?
When are we talking? Talking high school?
Right, so in high school, did you all smoke marijuana pretty regularly?
Not regularly, no. It's infrequent. Wasn't all that often.
Okay, so like once a week?
I wouldn't even say that much.
How many times a month?
Maybe a few.
All right, tell me with some, did you ever hear the Chandler use the word sesh?
Sesh?
Sesh.
Yeah.
S-E-S.
Yeah, it's a term.
What does the word sesh mean?
Like, I say when you hear sesh, kind of like just a session, like kind of hang out kind of thing.
So, if Chandler says to you, hey, let's have a sesh before this thing, what does that mean to you?
Oh, a sesh? Like just sesh on something? No, nothing then.
Does he
Like-
say
No, nothing then?
Yeah, if it's just sesh, yeah, sesh by itself, no. Like, I'm kind of confused.
All right. If Chandler were to text you, let's have a sesh before the game, what does that mean to you?
Sesh?
Yes.
I feel like something's left out. Like,
If he says, let's have a smoke sesh,
okay, yeah, smoke sesh. There you go.
what does that mean?
Smoke
Smoke what?
marijuana.
So, in that context, you understand to mean y'all are gonna smoke marijuana. Have you ever heard him use that phrase for any other reason other than a plan to smoke marijuana?
Not that I can think of.
Would it be fair to say that's something that he would text you with regularity? Let's have a sesh before or after we do something.
I wouldn't say it was regular, but I mean,
Okay, you all did, once you got to college, you all didn't see each other regularly.
yes, sir.
But would it be fair to say that virtually every time you saw him during your college years, he would make some request for you all to have a sesh?
Not every time.
Most times.
Sometimes.
Okay. Mr. Smith asked you about kind of the defendant's public persona, his character in the community when he was in high school, right?
Yes, sir.
He asked you about the fact he was student body president? Right.
Yes, sir.
He asked you about being in the National Honor Society. Did you actually know that personally?
I knew he was up there. Yeah. Yes, sir.
He asked you about where he finished as far as his class rank. Did you actually know that?
I didn't know the exact rank, but he was definitely up there. Yes.
So you would be, would you say that he is someone who was held up and held himself up as a leader in the community?
Yes.
So, you be familiar with a public service campaign that he conducted about the dangers of texting while driving?
Yes, sir.
You know about the video that he made about that? right?
Yes, sir.
And that was a video in which he, in a mock sense, depicted a friend of his being hurt somehow because he was texting them while they were driving, right?
Yes, sir.
But that was a play act, not actually a real situation, right?
Correct.
Good. You do know for a fact, based upon even just your interaction with him on the weekend of the 17th and 18th, that he texted while driving all the time, didn't you?
I want to say all the time, but
You drove with him from Wilmington to Chapel Hill on the 18th, partway caravan, partway in the Carlton, right?
yes, sir. Halfway. Yeah. Halfway following, halfway with him. Yes. Or more than halfway with, or less. Durham with him. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wilmington to Durham separate, Durham to Chapel Hill again.
Yes, sir.
You traded texts back and forth with him while he was driving through the entire time from Wilmington to Durham, didn't you?
It was his phone, but Josh could have been texting. I'm not sure.
Okay. Wasn't Josh texting from his phone in those text interactions too?
Through group message?
Yes.
Could have been. I don't know. I think it could have just been our text, our phones. Just me and Chandler's.
You don't know.
I don't remember.
Okay. further questions on redirect.
Yes, sir, thank you. Mr. Pugh, just briefly, you and I have never talked about this case before, have we?
No, sir.
Have you spoken with any lawyer for Chandler about this case before my interaction with you today?
No, sir.
You have spoken with folks from the DA's office about this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you got a lawyer after everything happened, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have an immunity agreement with the state, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's a written contract you have with the state, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You have an exhibit sticker. Do you recall going over that agreement with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
If I could have just one moment, Your Honor. Do you remember what's in your immunity contract with the state? Do you remember? Because I can show it to you if you don't remember.
Not all the details, but yeah.
Your Honor, I'm marking for identification purposes only and for the purpose of refreshing recollection. Defendant's Exhibit 1. Your Honor, may I approach the witness for the purpose of refreshing recollection? If I can have you look at that document, please.
Okay.
And what is that document, sir?
It's my immunity contract.
Will you look at the second page, please?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Consistent. Yes, sir.
Does that, after looking at that document, is your recollection refreshed as to the nature of your immunity agreement with the state, your immunity contract?
Yes, sir.
If I can have that back, please, sir. Actually, keep holding on to that. Now, Mr. Pugh, after having reviewed the prosecutor's contract with you, the state's agreed to not prosecute you for any crimes arising from this incident, right?
Yes, sir.
But that's only if you testify in accordance with the prior statements that you've made before, correct?
Yes, sir.
In other words, it doesn't just say you need to cooperate and you need to come into court and testify, right? If you need to review again to refresh your recollection, please do. Take your time. I'm sure it's been a while. Is that correct?
Well, can you
would
repeat the question?
Yes, sir, I'm happy to. I'm sorry, Mr. Pugh. In exchange for the state not prosecuting you for any crimes regarding what happened on July the 18th or the early morning hours of July the 19th, in exchange for that, you're required to testify only as to statements that you've made before. Isn't that correct? Under the terms of that contract.
Oh, one more time. If you can repeat that. Sorry.
Happy to. that contract doesn't require you just to come in here and cooperate and to testify. It's more than that, isn't it?
I was just, there might have been more, but I was advised by my lawyer to, come forth, testify.
Can I approach the witness, Your Honor, and I can?
Yes.
It'll help move us along. Thank you. Mr. Pugh, thank you, sir. What I specifically want to ask you is, so long as your testimony, if required, is consistent with the proffer questionnaire entitled Interview Questions provided to the state through your attorney, right?
Yes, sir.
In other words, and I didn't ask you the question very well, and that's my fault. But that's what the agreement says, is you have to testify to what you said on in those interview questions before, right? To live up to your end of the bargain. That's what it says on that.
Well, it's what happened. So,
But I'm just asking you about the contract, the agreement that you have.
yes, sir.
Mr. Neiman asked you about text that came from Chandler's phone while he and Josh were in the Jeep and you guys were coming back from Wilmington, right?
Yes, sir.
And you don't know if Chandler was sending those or if Josh was sending those. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Thanks, Mr. Pugh.
Yes, sir. Anything from?
Yes, sir. In terms of people you did speak with from our office, was one of those people Rob Barron, the investigator? Do you remember?
Yes. Yeah, yes, sir.
And did you have a phone conversation with me prior to testifying?
Yes, sir.
First question, at any point did either myself or Mr. Barron encourage you to say anything other than what is the truth, to the best of your recollection?
No, sir.
Were you asked to lie, exaggerate, or embellish your testimony in any way?
No, sir.
Were you told at any point that there were certain things that if you say them or don't say them, you're getting prosecuted?
No, sir.
In fact, when I spoke to you, did I actually ask you anything about the substance of your testimony, or was it more about giving you a preview of what you were gonna be doing logistically?
You were giving me a preview.
And did I make that clear that we weren't gonna talk about the substance of your testimony at the beginning of that conversation?
Yes, sir.
And accepting for the fact that because this is some time back and, there were some memory issues, is anything you testified to today, untrue to your recollection?
No, sir.
No further on redirect.
Any from?
No, sir.
Thanks, sir. You may stand down. You object to him being released from his stand? You may
Yes.
want to withhold. Okay. That's not. Thanks, sir. You stand down. Further evidence today?
I just learned that you can go. We're just not releasing from your state. Miss Mitchell. Your Honor, let's next call Josh Hall.
All right, we got Josh.
I want you to stand while you do that and face this way.
I'll swear the testimony about giving this court and jury to be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
And you may be seated.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sir, please state your name for the court,
Joshua Tyler Hall.
and could you spell that for the court reporter, please?
JOSHUATYLERHALL.
And where do you live?
I live right now in Athens, Ohio.
You can explain. You have a permanent address and a school
Oh,
address?
yeah, Asheboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where do you lay your head most nights these days?
Athens, Ohio.
Why?
I go to school at Ohio University,
Okay. What are you studying there?
energy engineering.
Okay. What do you want to do when you finish school? Do you know?
Haven't really decided yet, but hoping to go into analytics.
Okay. What year are you?
I'm a senior.
You said you're from Asheboro. Can you remember when and if you became acquainted with the defendant?
I first met him when I moved to Asheboro, North Carolina, my sophomore year of high school.
And describe your relationship with him.
We were pretty good friends sophomore year, junior year, and then halfway through my junior year, I moved to Singapore. So then I wasn't acquainted with him halfway between junior year and the end of senior year. But then when I graduated from high school, my family moved back to Asheboro, so then I became reacquainted with him after when I moved back.
Okay. Did you move back before the end of high school?
No.
Okay.
I graduated from Singapore, and then I came to, Asheboro after that.
Thank you. So would you consider him a friend?
Yeah,
Do you still consider him a friend?
yeah, very much so.
I'm going to direct your attention to July 17th of last year. Do you remember that day?
July 17th. Could you, was it
The
Which
Friday
day?
before Mr. Kania was charged with a bunch of crimes.
okay. The accident happened on a Sunday? Yeah.
The collision occurred about 3 in the morning on Sunday morning,
Okay.
the 19th.
Okay, yeah.
So what were you doing on the 17th,
The 17th,
the Friday?
we went to a concert where we were in Wilmington.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how'd you get to Wilmington?
I drove up, I was in Asheboro, and then I drove to Chapel Hill, and I left my car at the fraternity house, and then me and Chandler drove to Wilmington.
Okay. When you met the defendant in Chapel Hill, did you do anything before you left?
No.
Be more specific, did you consume any type of substance?
I don't think so.
Okay. Did you exchange messages with the defendant prior to you driving up to Chapel Hill to meet him?
Yeah,
Making plans?
yeah, yeah,
He gave you the address?
yeah.
Okay. All right, so you met him up in Chapel Hill. Was that at his apartment in Chapel Hill?
I can't remember exactly where we met first, but I think we met at the fraternity house, because I'm pretty sure I left my car at the fraternity house, and then I got straight into his car from there.
Okay. So about what time did you leave Chapel Hill to go to Wilmington?
I don't know exactly what time, but it was afternoon.
And I should, I'll say this from the outset, I might ask you about times, and unless I say, which would probably won't be, I don't expect you to remember an exact time.
Yeah.
You know, the hour or even portion of the day most of the time. is
Yeah,
good.
probably between like 2 to 4. But that's a wild guess right now.
Okay. And then you left Chapel Hill and you went to Wilmington. Who drove there
Chandler.
with you in the passenger seat?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember about what time you got to Wilmington?
Probably like 6.
Okay. What was the first thing you did when you got there?
Like, what do you mean by first thing? I mean, went to Alex's apartment, so
Okay. When you got to Alex's apartment, what did you do then?
hung out with him.
Okay. Did you do anything while you hung out with him?
Smoked pot. Yeah.
Okay. Did you do anything else?
No.
Did you drink any alcohol?
I don't think so. Or nah, yeah. Yeah.
Did the defendant drink any alcohol?
I don't remember exactly if he did.
Okay. Did he smoke any marijuana?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember doing an interview about this case with the state's investigator, a guy named Rob Barron?
Yeah.
Okay. September 7th of 2016. I don't expect to remember the day, but does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Did you say to him that it would be safe to say that you, Alex, and the defendant had been drinking beer and liquor all day and evening of Friday, July 17th during the concert in Wilmington?
Not during the concert,
Okay.
but probably before, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My memory is a lot better then, because it was a lot after, yeah, it was a lot sooner. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And when I ask you about these things, it's not necessarily to get you.
Okay.
It's just, I think the jury will understand there might be times you remember things better than you might remember in this environment.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, are you comfortable saying today that you and Alex and the defendant all drank and smoked marijuana at his apartment prior to going to the concert?
Yeah.
Okay.
Objection a little leading on these.
Under these circumstances, fine, come on.
Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you.
And so, best of your recollection, about what time did you leave the apartment to go to the concert?
Probably like 9.
Okay. How did you get to the concert?
I believe Alex drove,
Okay.
or but no, actually no, I don't remember how we got there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you hadn't driven to Wilmington,
No.
and would you remember if you had driven?
Yeah.
Okay. And if Alex remembers that Chandler drove, would you say he's wrong?
I would have no reason to testify otherwise.
Okay. And so then you got to the concert, and that was, who was playing that night?
It would be Modest Yahoo.
Did you consume any alcohol or marijuana when you got to the concert?
When we were in the bar.
Well, how about when you got to the venue but before you went in?
No,
You didn't smoke any marijuana in the parking lot before you went in?
I don't think so. No.
How about alcohol? Did you consume any alcohol before you went in?
No.
Okay. Do you know if the defendant did?
No,
You don't know?
I don't know.
Okay. And as far as consuming of those things inside the concert, your recollection is that you did not?
No.
Okay. That is your recollection?
Yeah, yeah. In the concert, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if the defendant did?
No. We I'm pretty sure we had like we didn't use our fake IDs then, and we used our real IDs, so we had X's on our hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so, but there was some discussion prior to you all going about the issue of whether you were going to use your fake IDs or not, right?
Yeah.
And among the reasons is that if you came in underage, you had to pay more of a cover.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. And do you remember if you and the defendant said something colorful about not feeling great about paying that cover?
That would sound about right. Yeah. Yeah.
So what gives? Why didn't you use them?
We asked Alex if the establishment was a place where we could get in using the fake identification, and we came to the conclusion that it was not a place where we could get in. Like, our IDs weren't something that really looked, or, yeah, they didn't look real.
Okay. So you went to the concert, and do you remember roughly when you left the concert?
I don't, probably like 12 or 1. Probably 12. Probably not 1.
Okay. And then what'd you do then?
We went back to Alex's apartment.
Okay. And you didn't walk home.
No.
So okay. When you got back to Alex's, what'd you do then?
Went to sleep.
You just went right to sleep after the concert?
We may, I don't remember exactly what we did, but yeah.
Okay. And again, roughly, when did you wake up the next day?
Like 11, 10, probably closer to 10.
Okay. What did you do then?
We were deciding what to do that day, so we decided to go to the beach.
Did you do anything before you went to the beach?
Probably smoked weed.
Okay. Did the defendant?
Yeah.
Okay. How did you get to the beach?
Alex probably drove. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay. And then when you got to the beach, do you remember how long you spent at the beach?
Like probably like a couple hours.
So does this get us to early afternoon?
Yeah, that'll get us to probably like 2.
Okay. And what'd you do then?
I don't know. We just hung out at the beach.
Sure. When you were done with the beach, what'd you do then?
We were decided to go, like, head back towards Ashboro, or like, yeah. But,
Okay.
yeah, because at that time we weren't sure about whether we were gonna go to, go to Chapel Hill or go to Ashboro. We didn't make that decision yet.
Gotcha. Okay. So when you left Wilmington, you were kind of just heading west.
Well, we were heading home, actually, or our plan was to head home.
Okay.
But we also were like deciding about whether to go to Chapel Hill or not. But we didn't make that decision until like we were sort of on our way. Like,
Gotcha. Did, is it, and so when you say we were going, describe how you were going. Was the defendant driving you in his car?
it was Alex was following us, and then it was Chandler driving with me in the passenger seat of his car.
Right. So, at some point, did you all make a decision to change course and go to Chapel Hill?
Yeah. While we were driving back, I was texting Becca Green from Chandler's phone because he was driving at the time and we didn't, yeah, and we wanted him to we didn't want him to like text and drive, so I was texting for him and he was telling me what to say, like to Becca Green, because we were texting her to figure out like if we should come to Chapel Hill or not.
Okay,
Yeah.
so are you saying that the defendant did not text from his phone on the drive from Wilmington?
Yeah. Because I had his phone in my hand and I remember that very, very clear.
Okay, well, then can you explain why there would be a text trio in which there's text coming from the defendant's phone and your phone and Alex conversing about the same thing? Why would that happen if you have both phones?
Well, I was texting Becca. I wasn't texting Alex from my phone. Or I wasn't texting Becca from my, or I was texting Alex with my phone.
So
But I was texting Becca from his phone.
So if Alex received texts from the defendant, those would have been him sending those texts, right?
No, but it would have probably been me. It's like I would.
That's the point of my question.
Yeah.
If you have a,
Yeah.
You
I mean,
understand-
yeah.
Whoa, we can only have one person talk at a time.
Oh.
I'm sorry, let me finish the question.
No.
If you have a three-way text, that happens commonly, right?
Yeah.
Where you can be texting and I can be texting you and the judge and I send a message, it goes both to you, and then you send a message, it goes both to us,
Yeah.
right? Okay. If you have a text thread that involves you and the defendant and Alex, why would you be texting from his phone in that thread?
I don't know. He could have been, or that could have happened at a different time. I don't know. But I know for a fact that I was like texting Becca from his phone while Chandler was driving. Yeah.
And I'm not meaning to be too tough on you on this
That's fine.
point, sir, but what I'm saying is that if there's a three-way conversation
Yeah.
in which someone from Chandler's phone is suggesting rolling to Chapel Hill, and then you and Alex are both responding to those texts, how does that make sense that all those texts would be coming from you?
Well, I don't know. Well, it could have, like, I'm not saying that all the texts were coming from him, because I don't think I had his phone with me 100% of the time, but I was yeah. I didn't have the phone, I don't know if I had the phone with me like 100% of the time, but I do know that I was texting Becca Green. I may have put yeah.
Okay. All right. So you did at some point make the group decision to go to Chapel Hill instead of Ashboro.
Yeah.
Okay. And did the caravan of two cars at some point condense down to one?
Yeah, because Alex's car broke down.
And so did you all pull over at some point and Alex joined you all in that car?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And best you can recall, when did you get to Chapel Hill?
Let's see. We left at 2, so we probably got there around like 4.
Okay.
I don't.
Let me back up on
Maybe
the other thing
5.
one more time. Did you text any of Mr. Kania's other friends from his phone while you were driving over
No.
to Chapel Hill?
Or no. I only yeah. I was only texting Becca Green.
Okay. Okay. And then you got to Chapel Hill, do you remember what place in Chapel Hill you went to first?
We stopped at the grocery store first.
Okay. What happened at the grocery store?
We all went in, and then we split off, and then Alex picked up beer.
Okay. Did he get beer for you?
Yeah, for all of us.
Did he get beer for the defendant?
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, did the defendant give Alex money to get beer for him?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you remember what beer you got?
I remember because I requested Budweiser, but but the other one would be Coors.
Okay. What happened after you left the grocery store?
We went to Chandler's apartment.
And I'm sorry, I didn't ask this before. Best of your recollection, time of day, when did you arrive into Chapel Hill?
4 or 5.
Okay. All right. And so you went by Rebecca Green's apartment after the grocery store? Or did you say that? I'm sorry.
No, first we went to Chandler's apartment, then we were deciding what to do. Then we realized that we should probably go drop off one of the cases of beer at Becca's apartment.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you first got to the defendant's apartment, did you drink anything then?
We may have had one beer.
Okay. Do you think that the defendant also did?
I didn't personally witness him.
Okay. Well, were you hanging out in different parts of the apartment?
Oh, I just don't yeah, because we were getting ready, so I was like showering.
You showered then, before Miss Green's apartment?
I would think so, because after we went to, no, we showered afterwards. Never mind. So, but yeah, I know personally that before we went to Miss Green's place, that I drank a beer, but I didn't personally witness Chandler drink a beer.
Okay.
But yeah.
And then you went to Rebecca Green's apartment, dropped off some beer, and then where'd you go?
Then we went to the fraternity house.
Okay. What happened there?
We drank beer. I believe it was the Coors.
Okay. Does we include the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned that there was a time when you all showered up for going out. Had that already happened, or is that yet to happen?
Well, that probably happened when we got back from Becca's.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went apartment, Becca's, then back to apartment?
Apartment, Becca's. Yeah, apartment, Becca's, back to apartment, then to the fraternity house. Yeah.
And once you were at the fraternity house, you all were out.
Yeah.
All right, so did you meet some new people at that point when you got to the fraternity
Yeah,
house?
all the people besides Alex and Chandler were new.
Okay. Do you remember any of the names of the people you met at that point?
Oh, yeah, they're in the room I was just in.
Okay. When you say the room, you mean the waiting room?
Yeah.
And let's clarify one thing. Were you instructed not to discuss this case with
No,
witnesses?
we didn't discuss anything.
Okay. All right. And have any witnesses that have testified in here gone back to that room after testifying?
No.
Okay. All right, so you met some new folks at the fraternity house. About how long were you there?
An hour or two.
Okay. Next, where did you go after that?
To Becca Green's, to the Shortbread Apartments.
Let me clarify one thing going back. How did you get from the defendant's apartment to the fraternity house?
Drove.
Who drove?
Chandler, I believe, because it was his car, that's how his car got to the fraternity house.
Right. Okay. And then, so how did you get from the fraternity house to Miss Green's apartment?
Walked.
Okay. When you got to Miss Green's apartment, can you just describe generally what was happening there?
It was just the group of girls just sitting there just talking, I guess. And yeah, there's a table and then there's alcohol in there.
Okay. So, what would you describe, how would you describe the gathering at Miss Green's apartment?
What do you mean by that?
Well, was it a party? Was it not a party?
It wasn't like a party, but like yeah. I mean, it was like I would classify it like a pregame. Like it was yeah.
Okay. Did you drink some alcohol there?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see the defendant drink alcohol there?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you see him drink?
We took shots of vodka, and we were drinking the Budweiser that we dropped off there, or the beer that we dropped off there. Yeah.
All right. When you say we, does that we include the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. About how long were you at Miss Green's apartment?
An hour or two.
And where did you go next?
I don't really. I believe it's Law Residence. Yeah. I don't really remember it was the first time I ever went to those bars. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you get there?
Walked.
Is it far from the apartment to the La Res?
10, 15-minute walk.
Is it that far?
I don't remember exactly how far, but like,
Okay.
yeah, it wasn't like just around the block.
Okay. Did they check IDs at the door there?
They did.
Did you have to use a fake ID to get in?
I did.
Did the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. Did you consume alcohol there?
Yes.
Did the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see him?
I know that I didn't personally like, yeah, or, I wouldn't say I personally watched him, but there was a group of tequila shots bought for us, but I wasn't like looking at him as he took the shot.
Okay.
But yeah.
Fair enough. Was Rebecca Green there too?
No.
Are you sure?
At Law Residence,
Yeah.
the first bar? Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure we went there with like to meet up with more of the fraternity like guys.
Did you at some point get a message from the defendant to lay off Becca?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm not trying to catch anything, but I mean, does that refresh your recollection? Were you talking to her?
No, that was at Shortbread.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Fair enough. You were at La Res for a little while, and then where did you go?
The second bar, I believe it's called He's Not Here.
Okay. Had you ever been there before?
No.
Okay. Were they checking IDs there?
Yes.
You have to use a fake ID to get there.
Yes.
Did the defendant?
Yeah.
How did you get from one bar to the next?
Walked.
At He's Not Here, did you drink any alcohol?
Yes.
Okay. Did the defendant?
Yes.
Did the defendant actually get you
Yeah.
a drink there?
Yeah. Those big blue cups. Yeah.
Okay. And once you were there, was there a band there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Other than listen to the band and talk with your friends and drink your blue cup, do you remember anything else that occurred there?
Not really, because at that point, we weren't really hanging out with Chandler at that time, because before we like came all the way there, Chandler told us to like to not be afraid to go out and like talk to new people, not to feel like we have to like stay around him the whole time, and like I don't know, just pretty much not be afraid to just like go off or not go off at that, not like leave him, but like to like not be afraid if we're not like by his side the whole time. So at that time, me and Alex were around talking to other people, and we weren't with, at that time, I don't remember being with Chandler very much at that bar.
Okay. So you were mingling with new people at that point?
Yes.
Okay. So did you eventually leave that bar?
Yeah.
Was that around closing time,
Yeah.
2 a.m.?
Yep.
Okay. What happened next?
At this point, I was pretty intoxicated, so this is where it starts to get a little bit like hazy. But from what I remember is that I didn't realize it at first, but people were saying that we lost Chandler and we didn't know where he was. But I didn't, like, it took me a while to like realize that we like actually didn't know where he was. Like at that, like, so we left the bar because it was closing, and we were walking, and I remember like trying to call Chandler, or like trying to call his phone, like trying to figure out where he was, and then like I forget who said it to me, but someone said to me, be like, "Oh, Josh, why are you like calling his phone? We have his phone." And I was like, "What?" And then like I think I called it again, and then yeah, and then I came down to the realization that we didn't know where he was and that we probably needed to find him.
Okay. Let's back up a little bit, and I think and the jury will understand your difficulty with the memory, but let's
Yeah.
do our best
Okay.
for some of this. You walked out of the bar, and at this point, did your group consist of the defendant, his friend Case, his other friend Ditz, you and Alex?
Yes.
Okay. And I did just I don't want to put words in your mouth, but.
Yeah. No, but that's what I would. Yeah. That's who I would say who it was.
Okay. You can say, you're comfortable saying at least that the group that left
Yes.
with
Yes. Oh, sorry.
that was those 5 people.
Yes.
The 3
Case, Ditz.
Ashboro guys, and the 2
Yeah.
new friends that were the defendant's fraternity friends.
Mm-hmm.
That was the 5
Yes.
of your group.
Yeah. Me, Alex, Chandler, Case, and Ditz.
Okay. And did the group, did some event cause the group to get separated at some point?
At that time, I didn't really know what was going on, but because I wasn't but I realized that there was a tension within the group.
What I'm asking about, was there some event external to your group that maybe distracted a couple of the guys to separate away? Do you remember that?
No, I mean, I don't know the specific events, and I don't want to testify about something that I don't know about 100%.
Okay. So, did you walk back to the fraternity house or towards the fraternity house at that point?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you, do you remember Case and the defendant getting into an argument?
I knew that Chandler was mad at somebody, but I wasn't sure who. I knew he was probably mad about, he had told me through like talking with Chandler throughout the day that he told me that like he was trying to get Case and Becca I guess together, and I knew that like there's some like animosity between that, but I wasn't I wasn't sure if that was like the leading cause of why Chandler was mad. I thought it was because it yeah. I don't want to speculate on what I thought, but
Okay.
yeah.
Gonna go back to the September 7th interview you did with Mr. Barron.
Yeah.
You said before that you might have remembered things better then than you do now.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you recall if you told him that you knew that Case and the defendant were arguing, but you weren't sure exactly what about?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying, or yeah.
Fair enough. So after that happened, did the defendant and Case, after their argument, did they part ways?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you continue to walk with the defendant or with Case?
I was with Alex.
Okay. We'll just jump right to it. Did you see the defendant get in his car?
No, because like when we were getting close to the fraternity house, we knew that he was probably going to like that there was the possibility that he would get into his car, so we started to pick up the pace a little bit, and I fell down and I fell a little bit behind the group. So I remember, obviously this time I was like very intoxicated, so my vision wasn't the best, but like I remember like seeing his car, but I didn't see him get into the car, I don't think.
Okay, fair enough. Do you, let's see, let me ask a similar kind of question. Do you remember, would it be fair to say that on August 20th of 2015, about a month after these events, your recollection would have been clearer than it is today?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you at that time do an interview with an agent with alcohol law enforcement recalling what happened that night?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you recall if you told him at that time that you could see Mr. Kania, the defendant, in his car?
Yeah, that's what I said. I said I didn't, you asked me if I saw him get into the car. I said I didn't see him get into the car.
May
Yeah.
seem like splitting hairs, but what
Yeah.
I understood you to say is that you saw his car, but I'm asking if you could see.
Oh, yeah,
him in-
by his car, I meant like him in the car, so yeah, my bad.
Okay. And then, were you and the others, at least upon first seeing that, did you sort of make a run towards the car to see if you could stop it?
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, like when we picked up the pace.
Right, and
Yeah.
that's when you fell?
Yes,
And so you fell behind the others that were able to get closer to him?
yes.
And did you, in fact, eventually get up to his car?
Yeah, I would say pretty close to it, yeah.
Okay. Do you recall if you, whether you told Agent Richardson that you couldn't really get there to do much, but that you were only able to touch his car?
Yeah, but it was like almost as like it was like sort of like pulling, not like, it wasn't like moving fast, but he was like almost about to pull away.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. And so, did he pull out of the parking lot of the fraternity house?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember which way he turned?
No.
And you kind of touched on this earlier, but I think you said you were calling him to see if he'd come back, I guess?
Mhm.
Okay. Did you send a text message to him?
Yeah, but that happened, so he came back also.
Okay. Well, I didn't
And
know if
then-
you remembered that. so-
Yeah.
Okay.
He came back but like he like looped around and then he slowed down, but then he sped away. And then, yeah, and then that's after he like went away and after like, I believe me and Alex like went around the corner to see if he just like went around there, and then I texted him being like, Chandler, I believe I said like, Chandler, please come back or something like that.
Okay. And then sometime soon after that, somebody said that's a waste of time because his phone isn't with him, something like that.
Well, that was when I was calling him. This is when I was you asked, yeah, when I was texting him. Yeah,
My
it's
fault.
fine. It's
Let me
okay.
get the chronology straight. You saw him pull away the initial time where you were just barely able to touch his car.
Mhm.
And then,
Oh, yes.
was it at that point that you were calling him?
No, I was calling him when we were just got out of the bar, and then when we were like walking back, I was calling him,
Okay. So,
trying to call his phone, but somebody had his phone.
after he pulled away the first time, did you attempt to make contact with him in any way?
No, because I believe I texted him after he pulled away the second time.
Okay. So, what did you do between the first pull away and the second pull away? Just sort of wait around hoping for him to come back?
I think we just like went around the corner to see if he was just there. Or like we saw, we just waited around in the parking lot.
Okay. All right. And about how much time passed between the first pull off and when he came back?
Not very long, I would say.
Okay.
Probably like 10, 15 minutes.
And then after the second time he pulled off, did you try to make contact with him then, or did you know by then he didn't have his phone?
The second time he pulled off,
Yes.
that's when I texted him.
Okay. And is that when somebody said, "Don't bother"?
No, that was when I called him.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fine. Okay. Then you called him, and then did somebody say, "Don't bother"?
Yeah,
Okay,
because they had his phone.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So then what happened with the phone?
I don't know. I think from what I heard that Ditz had his phone.
Right. But you don't remember if Ditz gave it to somebody else?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, after this scene where he's left, what did you do next?
Well, we were kind of wondering what to do, I guess. So, because me and Alex didn't have anywhere to stay, so we were gonna go try to find him. So me and Alex went on foot to go try and find him. So we walked around for say like 30 or 45 minutes.
Okay. Did you ever find him?
No.
Did you ever find or encounter anybody else you knew while you were walking around?
No.
You don't remember if you ran into Rebecca Green?
Oh yeah, we did, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember what y'all talked about when you saw her?
Mostly if she's seen Chandler, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then after you met up with her and talked with her, what'd you do next?
We walked back to the parking lot, and then there we encountered one of his fraternity brothers, and they told us that we could crash on their bed, or not their bed, the sofa of the fraternity house.
Is that what you did?
Yes.
Okay. Among the people that you interacted with that night, did anybody else drive other than Chandler?
I don't know.
Okay. Did you drive?
No.
Did Alex drive?
No.
Did you ever see Case drive?
I don't know.
I'm not asking you if you know they did. Did you ever see him drive?
No, I did not see him drive. But I don't know if he did. I didn't see if he drove.
Okay. Did you see Ditz drive?
No.
At some point after this happened, were you offered some kind of immunity from being charged for crimes related to underage drinking?
Like verbally, kind of.
Okay.
or I was verbally assured that I wouldn't be charged,
Okay.
but not until like a month or like last week, I would say. But
The last week?
not like last week is when I got like verbal confirmation that I wouldn't be charged, but I wasn't. I mean, I wasn't that worried about being charged. I don't know.
Okay. Has anyone ever encouraged you to say something that wasn't true or otherwise embellish or exaggerate your testimony?
No.
Okay. Have you and I spoken directly about your testimony here?
I don't think so.
Did we talk by phone?
Yeah,
some
yeah.
point?
I'm sorry. I've talked to a lot of people.
It's okay. Whether you remember or not, can you say that I or anybody from the DA's office has ever told you that there was something specific you needed to say or testify to, or else you were going to be charged with crimes?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been asked to do anything other than just tell the truth?
No.
Okay. How much interaction have you had with the defendant since this happened?
I've ran into him at the YMCA.
Okay. This would be back in Ashboro?
Yes.
Okay. So how many times have you run into him at the Y?
Probably twice.
Okay,
Yeah, twice.
okay. Did you talk to him any?
Not really. I talked to him, but mostly just like how he was doing.
Well, so you were aware that he was charged with a lot of crimes, right? And
Yes.
you said that I think you said he's one of your closest friends.
Yeah.
Okay. So, did you not feel compelled to talk to him about more than, hey, how you doing?
No, not really, because I knew that we couldn't talk about the trial and anything like that.
Okay.
And I didn't really want to like bring that up. I mostly just wanted I don't know. I hadn't like seen him since like then, so I don't know.
Okay. Best you can estimate, when were the 2 times that you ran into him?
This past summer.
Okay.
So I don't know, like June or July.
Okay. So both of those times were this past summer.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that,
Yes.
you had no contact with him from July 19th of 2015 for basically a whole year.
Yes.
No phone interaction with him,
No. Or no.
either verbal or texting.
No.
Okay. And you never spoke to him face to face other than those 2 casual times at the Y.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing further on direct.
Witness for the defendant.
Thanks, Your Honor. Mr. Hall, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I am Roger Smith. I am one of the lawyers that represents Chandler. If you don't recall the answer to a question, that's just fine. I'm going to sort of start at the beginning, though, okay?
Okay.
You first met Chandler in high school in Ashboro, right?
Correct.
You moved to Singapore with your folks junior year, correct?
Yeah, halfway in between my junior year.
So you first met him sophomore year in high school. Is that when your family first moved to Ashboro?
Correct.
So you knew him sophomore year, right?
Yeah.
About halfway through junior year, correct?
Yeah.
You graduated from high school in Singapore, then came back, I guess, that summer before everybody goes off to college and y'all reconnected then?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Now, on the night, Saturday night was the night that you guys all went out to Shortbread Apartments, then La Res, and he's not here, and that went into Sunday, early morning hours of Sunday morning, July the 18th.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
19th, thank you. So, backing up just a little bit. On Friday, you had plans with Chandler to go see Alex down in Wilmington, right?
Yes.
So you came from Ashboro to Chapel Hill to
Yes.
meet with Chandler, right?
Yes.
Do you remember if y'all met at his apartment or if you met at the fraternity house?
Fraternity house?
Okay? When y'all were at the fraternity house, and this is prior to leaving to go to Wilmington, where Alex is in school, was in school, y'all didn't have anything to drink at the fraternity house, did you?
No.
You didn't smoke any pot there.
No.
Josh drove, excuse me,
Yeah.
Chandler drove
Yes.
you two from Chapel Hill down to Wilmington.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you got to Wilmington, y'all were there to see the concert. How do you pronounce the band's name?
I think it was Modest Yahoo.
Modest
think,
Yahoo.
yeah.
Thank you. I think I've got it now. So y'all were there to see that band in Wilmington, right?
Yeah.
Got to Alex's apartment. The three of you guys smoked some pot there, right?
Yes.
But you didn't drink alcohol on the Friday night. Just think back.
Friday night. That was the night of the concert?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I didn't think we did.
And that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Okay. Just go by your recollection.
Yeah. Like, if I recollect, yeah, I would say that we didn't drink alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I want is what you recollect, sir.
Okay.
Appreciate that. This is Friday in Wilmington.
Yeah.
Three of you guys, you smoked some pot in Alex's apartment pre-concert, right?
Yeah.
Alcohol's not involved.
Yeah.
You're down in Wilmington. That's where Alex is in school. And Alex drove in his Land Rover, you and Chandler to the concert, right?
Yeah.
Because he knows where he's going. That makes sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We that was the first time that I've ever been to Wilmington, so and
Okay. When you guys were in the concert, I already forgot how to say it. But
Modest
anyway, when
Yahoo.
you guys were in the concert, you didn't have alcohol in the concert.
no, because like I said, we had those X's on our hands, so it would have been like near impossible to get alcohol.
You had a fake ID. Chandler had a fake ID. Y'all talked to Alex, hey, can we get in with our fake IDs? He said, no, this place is pretty strict. So y'all said, forget about it. Y'all just went in and it was alcohol-free at the concert.
Yeah, we were fine. We were fine with that.
You watch the show. Y'all go back to Alex's apartment, correct, after it's over.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And y'all pretty much wrap up the night and go to bed. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Didn't have any alcohol when y'all got back to the apartment.
No.
You woke up the next morning. This is Saturday, July the 18th, 2015. You wake up the next morning around 10. At some point, the three of you guys smoke some pot,
Yes.
right? And you go to the beach. Kind of
Correct.
midday-ish, y'all go to the beach.
Correct.
It's Alex's town. He drives you guys in the Land Rover to the beach, right?
Yes.
Hang out there for a few hours, and you come back to his apartment, right?
Yes.
Y'all smoke some more pot, the three of you, right?
Yes.
No alcohol.
No.
And then the plan is, at this point, actually, you hadn't made plans because you hadn't decided on, are we going back to hometown of Ashboro? Or are we going to go to where Chandler's in school in Chapel Hill and party that night? Is that fair?
Yeah, like we weren't, our main plan was to go to Ashboro, but we were only gonna go to Chapel Hill if, Marley was gonna be there.
Okay. And is that what you were texting Rebecca Green about?
Yeah, yeah, because Becca's was one of, Marley's like good friends, so, yeah.
And of course, you'd never met Becca before. You don't have her number in your phone, do you?
No, no.
And I'll back up again in a minute, but as long as we're talking about the drive now from Wilmington to Chapel Hill. I mean, Chandler wasn't texting on that drive, was he?
I didn't have his phone on me, like, I wasn't holding his phone 100% of the time, but I concretely remember him telling me what to tell Rebecca Green, because we didn't want him to text and drive. But, yeah.
You specifically remember that part,
Yeah,
so you're
yes,
texting
yes.
her. Okay. And after that, of course, that's when y'all decide, hey, we're gonna stay in Chapel Hill tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Chandler drives, you two in the Jeep. Alex follows in the Land Rover, right?
Yes.
Do you even remember at some point texting from Chandler's phone, hey, cut your lights on back there or something like that?
Yeah, because I think it was starting to rain or something like that.
Okay.
Or,
You guys get to Chapel Hill, and the first thing y'all do is you go to the Harris Teeter, is that right?
yes. Yeah.
Alex goes in to get the beer, because he's 21, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He buys a case of Budweiser, correct?
Correct.
Did you request the case of Budweiser, if you remember?
I did, yes, I did.
Chandler requested the 18-pack of Coors.
Yeah.
Alex goes in and buys it. You guys next, you go to Chandler's apartment, and at that point, don't y'all briefly drop off luggage and then go to Rebecca Green's to drop off that case of Budweiser?
Yeah, it wasn't shortly after we got to his apartment that we went to drop off the alcohol at Rebecca's.
And does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, as we sort of slow things down a little bit.
Yeah.
Drop off luggage at Chandler's apartment. Pretty shortly after that, to use your words, y'all go to Rebecca's, drop off that case of Budweiser, right?
Yes.
And then y'all would have gone back to the apartment where you can take time and shower up and change clothes.
Yes, correct.
Does that sound, do you
Yeah,
remember
that sounds, that sounds correct.
Okay. Did you want to add something? I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna agree or say that was correct.
Okay. Now, while y'all are showering up and getting ready for the night, y'all open up the Coors, that 18-pack, and you each have a beer. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I know, yeah, that sounds right. I know personally that I drank a beer, but at that time, I was, like, we were getting ready, so I wasn't intently focusing on what everybody else was doing. Yeah.
Fair enough. At some point, Chandler drives you and Alex up to the fraternity house, correct?
Yes.
9-ish, give or take. I know times
Yeah,
are different.
yeah. 9-ish, yeah.
Okay.
8 or 9.
He parks the Jeep in the fraternity parking lot there, correct?
Correct.
And you're probably not very familiar with Chapel Hill.
No,
right?
not at all. That was, besides touring it my junior year, that was the second time I've been there.
Okay. You park the Jeep in the parking lot, and then you three go in the SIG house, the fraternity house,
Yes.
take the beer in with you.
Yep.
You're starting to meet others of Chandler's friends, other fraternity brothers when you go in the fraternity house, is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember any names at that point in the night? You know, we're talking about when y'all just gotten from the apartment to the fraternity house.
I think Case was there.
Okay, you think Case was there. Do you recall if marijuana was smoked when you were at the fraternity house?
Yes.
You know how many people were smoking?
It was, we brought the case of beer into a room, and it was, I think it was like a blunt being passed around. So,
Okay,
yeah. But these were people that I don't recall who they were, but
sure.
yeah.
at some point, had y'all been there about an hour or so?
Yeah, an hour or two. Probably, definitely less than 2.
Okay, less than 2.
Yeah.
Y'all walked from the fraternity house to Shortbread Apartments.
Yes.
Did Chandler and you guys leave the Coors beer at the fraternity house?
Yeah.
Okay. When you got to Shortbread Apartments, how many people were there when you first got there?
I don't know exactly, but probably like 5 or 6.
5 or 6 initially,
Yeah.
then I take it more people got there.
Not that much more. Probably, I would say there's about 10 people.
Okay. You guys had dropped off the Budweiser there earlier. You didn't take any liquor with you there, right?
No.
But liquor was being served there, correct?
Correct.
While you were at Shortbread, you drank some beers, right?
Yes.
And so did Chandler.
Yeah.
And you both had some shots there, correct?
Yes.
You remember how many shots that Chandler had?
At least 1, but I don't remember exactly how many he took personally. But I personally watched him take 1, or I took 1 with him.
Okay. How long were you guys at Shortbread?
An hour or 2.
At some point, a group walks from Shortbread to the first bar, La Residence or La Res.
Yes.
You know how many people were in your group that walked from Shortbread to La Res?
No, it was us minus the girls that were with us. So I think it was me, Chandler, Alex, and Ditz.
Ditz met y'all at Shortbread, is that right?
Yeah, that sounds correct.
Case is a name that you remember, and Ditz is a name that you remember.
Yeah, but I don't think Case was at Shortbread.
Okay, don't think Case was at Shortbread.
Yeah.
Okay. When you got to La Res, everybody except Alex, who was 21, everybody showed fake IDs to get in.
Yes.
When y'all got in, Ditz bought a round of tequila shots for at least the number that was in the group that got there, right?
Yes.
You took a shot, Chandler took a shot, and the other people that were there all took shots.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else to drink while you were at La Res?
Personally, no.
Okay. Did you interact with Chandler when you were at La Res?
Yeah.
Anything unusual happen at La Res?
No. No, not really. Just talking, I guess.
Everybody's starting to feel a little buzzed, a little impaired at this point, I
Yeah.
take it?
At that point when we were at La Res was definitely a point when we were getting more drunk, or yeah. Because we got pretty. I would say that at La Res is probably where like, personally for me, that it definitely turned where I was like definitely feeling inebriated.
It sounds like, based on the chronology that you and I are kind of going through here, you're at the fraternity house, you're drinking beer, you guys had smoked a little pot. You go to Shortbread, and that's when the hard liquor is sort of introduced into the night. Is
Yes.
that fair?
Yeah.
And you knew Chandler had, you're not sure how many, but you know he had some shots of some kind of vodka there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
yeah, but yeah. At first, when we were first going to Shortbread, we weren't like I don't know. We didn't really want to get like too drunk because we weren't like I remember Chandler telling me to be like careful because he knew that they like enjoyed to take shots instead of like drinking beer.
The girls at Shortbread Apartments?
Yeah, yeah. So Chandler was very like I remember him specifically telling me that to not like fall into that trap, or not. I say trap, but it's not. It wasn't really like, yeah.
I understand what
Yeah.
you're saying. But even on the way over there, y'all didn't bring any liquor with you, but on the way over there, he said, "Look out, these girls like to take shots." Those are
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
words.
No, yeah, no, yeah. Those are my. So. Oh. Yes. On the way over there, he said, "Be careful. Those girls like, yeah, they like to take shots and like, yeah." But and then yeah, like that was the point when like hard liquor was involved, but like that was not our plan initially to go in there and take a bunch of shots.
But in fact, that's what happened.
That yeah. In fact, that is what happened.
And did it seem to kind of go downhill from there? Thinking
Yes,
back?
definitely. Yes.
Then when y'all walked up to La Res, the first thing that happens is, and Ditz walked with y'all from from Shortbread to La Res.
Yes.
Do you remember if Ditz had any shots when he was at Shortbread?
I didn't personally witness him take any shots.
Okay. After presenting the fake IDs to get into La Res, the first thing he does is he buys the round of tequila shots.
Yes.
Do you know what, if anything, Chandler had to drink? And we're at La Res, we're just talking about La Res. Do you know what, if anything, he had to drink while he was at La Res?
No, I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah. I only remember the tequila shot.
Is this around 1 a.m. when you're at La Res?
Probably like 12 to 1, because we would have to leave time because the bars close at 2, I would say.
Yes?
Yes. So we would have to leave time for us to walk over to the other bar. And then also we spent a decent amount of time over there. So if it was at 1, I don't think we could have gotten over there in time, you know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And so I would say probably 12, or closer to 12 than closer to 1.
Okay. At some point, a group walks from I strike that. Did you have anything else to drink at La Res other than tequila?
Did I personally?
Yes, sir.
No.
You did. But you're not sure about Chandler, just weren't paying
Yeah,
attention?
not sure. I wasn't paying attention.
Fair enough. At some point, a group walks from La Res to He's Not Here, right?
Yes.
And I can't remember if you said you'd been to He's Not before.
I have not, no.
Okay. That's right. Thank you. So at He's Not Here, everybody presents, except Alex, everybody presents the fake IDs to get in, right?
Yes.
Was there a band playing there?
Yeah, it was a Beatles cover band.
Beatles cover band. When you got in there, what did you order to drink?
I didn't order anything to drink.
Okay.
I got a drink handed to me.
Did Chandler buy you one of those big blue cups?
Yes, sir.
That's that big 32-ounce of beer? 32-ounce beer?
Yeah, I don't know how much it was, but it was definitely a big cup of beer.
You weren't measuring the
No.
actual ounce content,
Yeah.
but it was a big beer.
Yeah.
So he bought one for himself, and then he bought one for you.
Yes.
At that point, did you guys is that where y'all split up a little bit, and you and Alex were talking to other people, and Chandler was talking to other people?
Yeah, like I was telling him, Chandler told us to not be afraid to talk to other people, to not like feel like we have to stay around him all the time.
Okay.
He told us that when we were like deciding to like when we decided to like go to Chapel Hill.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just mingle, be friendly, that kind of thing.
Yeah, mingle, be friendly, and we're mostly just don't be like afraid, yeah, don't be afraid to approach new people and don't feel like we have to like always like be next to him.
Who did you and Alex end up talking to?
I don't remember specifically, but a lot of people, I guess. Not a lot of people, but like, I don't know, we were just mingling around.
At this point, you personally, you'd been to La Res, you're starting to feel the shots, kind of the accumulation of shots, right?
Yes, definitely.
And I assume that you're noticing that in Chandler, right?
Yeah, but like I was saying, I wasn't really focusing on a lot of what Chandler was doing. I was,
You're trying to focus more on yourself.
well, not on myself, just trying to have a good time.
Okay, fair enough. How long, so you guys stayed at, he's not here until the bars closed at 2 o'clock, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember who you were with when you and whoever else was in the group was leaving the bar at 2?
I remember that I was with Alex,
Okay.
and I think Ditz, but at the same time, all those faces at that time were new to me. So at that point, I didn't recognize, oh, that's Ditz. I recognized, oh, that's someone new.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. So you guys walk out of He's Not, and do you start walking toward the fraternity house?
Yeah, because we didn't know where Chandler was. So,
Let's talk about that.
yeah. Like I was telling him, I didn't realize that we lost Chandler and we didn't know where he was.
And we're talking about when you're at the bar.
No, I didn't even realize this even when we were outside the bar, because I was outside the bar, and like I was telling him, I was trying to call Chandler because I thought I could just call him and find him, and I couldn't have done that in the bar because it would have been pretty noisy in the bar because the band was playing. But so called him when I don't remember if we were actually like, I think we were walking. I don't know if we were I think I would say we were walking when I was calling him and I was trying to find out where like he was,
Okay.
because we lost him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take our evening recess at this point. During our evening recess period, it's the duty of all of you not to talk among yourselves about this case. It's your duty not to talk to the parties, the witnesses, or the lawyers about anything at all. Further duty not to talk to anyone else, allow anyone else to talk with you or say anything in your presence about this case. If anyone communicates with you in any way at all about this case, you can let us know about that immediately. Stay away from social networks. Don't put anything on Facebook, any of those kind of things about this case. You already seen how fast it takes us to find out. Don't do any individual research, investigation on your own about any issue touching on this trial. As I told you, I'm going to give you everything you'll need. And do not form or express an opinion about this case during this time. With that, ladies and gentlemen, as you leave all of your notepads and your seats, excuse the 13th of you and ask that you return and assemble in the jury room tomorrow morning at 9:30. That's your